Hey people, I was wanting to read you the next 6 lines in this poem in 1 Timothy 5. At the end of this line 15, it's got this word Satana in there. They say it's Satan. And if you look it up everywhere, it just says the devil. Already for some have turned aside after Satan. Everybody just says the devil, but I know that all these biblical names, they all have a meaning to them. But if you look it up in its original Arabic or Urdu or Hindi, they say it means Shivi. And some synonyms for Shivi is, annoy, badger, bait, bother, chase, harass, hound, hunt, tease, torment, pursue. Shivi is said to be a British word to tell somebody to repeatedly do something. To nag somebody. The only other place you're going to find this is Satana, India. If you go over here on the other side of the world here, you'll find this little town of Satana. And it's a couple miles from this old Satan's tower here. It's got ancient ruins on top of it. And another tower here. Not quite as tall, but it would be impossible to climb if you were trying to get somebody off the top of it. And there's another one here, Saddle Fort. And there was some wars fought here. This is the highest point. And you see ancient ruins on top of it. Got a little water collection basin here. We can go down and stand on top of it and get a view. And look around the town here. But this is the highest point on this ridge of mountains. I think if we shoot over here, we'll end up at that city. And you see it's got an old dried-up river running through it. It's like a bridge here. This looks like an old dam. Not a lot of water traveling through it. To nag, is to annoy or irritate a person with persistent fault finding or continuous urging. A person who nags. But also a horse, especially one that is old or in poor health. Or a horse suitable for riding, not a draft animal, but one that's a little older and more calm. But in these lines it was talking about the octagram and hexagram. These are hexagrams. So this is an ancient logo from a German car company, and the bottom of this logo, that's in heraldry, that means German, just being this shape. And then protos, the first types of the nag, or the gang, G-A-N-G, and then back, the gang nag. So nag is your horse, and gang is like a gang box where all your electrical runs through. It's a box full of components for the operation, the gang, group of components for the operation of gang, nag to horse. A gang, a set of switches, sockets, or other electrical and mechanical devices grouped together. Arrangement of electrical devices or machines together to work in coordination. So this is also a hexagram, and it would read as the 6 lines. This comes from the ancient writings of the Ching. And this was all these ancient religious writings. They were written by somebody in confinement. A lot of the people that wrote this were imprisoned or confined in some type of way. And what it does is it shows a thought process. It can teach somebody who's really dumb a better thought process, and then people who are really smart, use it for divinations. And that was the Satan. And so these hexagrams, they were first started with 3. They were just 3 lines, and then the bottom 3 would just be the opposite, the mirror image. And so if you just have the top 3 lines, you can have 8 combinations with 3 lines, either zeros or ones, X's or O's. And when you add the bottom 3, it gives you times 8, 64 total different combinations. So they had a name for each one. And so that's what this yin yang sign in the middle is, that's and the mirror image. With just 3 lines, you can have all 3 solid, or the bottom split, the bottom and top split, the 2 bottom split, all 3 split, the 2 top split, the middle split, or just the top split. You have an octagon of hexagons. So in the Hindi they say that, Satana can also mean as a verb is in to martyrize, which is to kill somebody because of their beliefs, cause great pain or distress, to nag. So it seems like the best definition would be like a badgering prosecutor got you on the stand. So they say this was created by Fuchi, and he observed patterns in the world and created the 8 trigrams. And so when it talks about casting lots in the Bible, this is probably what it's talking about. And you ask questions, and then you flip coins and chart the response, and then look it up in the book for an answer. So this is part 4. I read line 10 in part 1, and then I started the beginning. So we're at line 11. Line 10 was talking about qualities of Virgo. And so this is new to reside. Neo is Greek for new. And terrace is earth. And this accent mark opening to the rear means this DE is a suffix. If it was turned the other way, it would be a prefix for the next word. And so these are poets playing with words. So it's new to reside. The new terrors, the new earth, then neuters. They can cut the nuts off. They remove the king, and they have new territories to reside. The chair as parrot too. Para is protection, but it's also over it too. The reside, the chair, to be the king over it. And so it's kind of playing with words, as in parrot too, as in, you place a parrot there. He's not really the king, and people think he's the king, but he's actually just repeating what you tell him to say. New to reside, the chair is parrot too. Got you a new king in place. At anger, kata, according to the strain, has as on. Kata, according to the strain, has as on too. And the Christ too, gaming. Gaming is in polygamy, as many wives game, or monogamy, one game. And so according to the strain, at anger, according to the strain too, cries to, gaming. And cries to is the ancient symbol of the East. Cries to gaming, the losing. You can see it right up here, the losing. And you can see the word tell. Tell in here, to tell who's in. So if you're playing poker, and if there's a tell who's in, there will be the losing. And then each who say, each, E-X, E-C-H, each who say, O-U is who. Each who say crime, at it on, proton, on the first type. Pissed in, pissed is where your word past comes from. It means piss, behind you, leeward, downwind. As they get this faith, from faithful, meaning somebody who stand behind you, pis is behind. The piston, hath it has in. When you put two halves in a word, one of them is a hath, and the next one is a has. And so it means it has it, whatever you were talking about, who has it, has on. This is on, and on means above, has on. Have it, has on, the hat. You have that would be a word for putting on your hat or your coat. Hath it, has on. Amma. And I believe this is the word for blood instead of Elma, Helma. I believe this is more closer to it. It shows down in the end of this line. It talks about the blood rights. But this is a maid. You see the accent mark pointing back. A maid, like a maid man, somebody placed in the position. A maid to our gay, G-A-I-G-A-Y. The maid to our gay man, the noosing. The one who's on the gallows and putting a noose around your neck. Perrier, that means to perish. And then C-H-O-M-E-N-Y. The parish Khomeini. Khomeini. This is where your word, the Ayatollah Khomeini comes from. The parish Khomeini. And so this Taz, this is it has. And the same as tis. This is poetry. And you see all through this chapter is talking about Ophius, the ancient poet that was killed by the women for molesting little boys. But they'll change a lot of words, like tis and taz, in order to keep the hexameter and the foot right. And it's kind of like in music. You have stressed syllables and short, long and shorts. And so this is where your word jam come from, J-A-M. And a jamic pentameter, it means, a jamic is a day. It means a short and a long, a day and a night, an upbeat and a downbeat. And then in a line, in a meter, it'll have five upbeats and downbeats. And that's where your Hebrew word for yom, for day, come from. A night in a day, in day one. And so it's written, just like the hexagrams. You have longs and shorts. In a dactyl, you have a long and two shorts. This is your pointing finger. And it's a dactyl. You have a long and two shorts. And this is part of the code you see in all that religious art. It's telling you how it reads. Dactyl. And an amphib break. A break between, a break is shorts. And amph between, break the shorts. So a short, long, and a short. And you see a Bacchus up here, is a short and two longs, and an anti-Bacchus is the opposite. And so this critic, is called an amphimancer, a macro, big, between the bigs. You have a small, and here between the smalls, you have a big. And so this could also have a third name, as a anti-amphibrac, would be a opposite of the amphibrac. So sometimes it'll be it has, and sometimes it's just Taz. Sometimes it's it is, and sometimes it's tis. And the sole purpose is to keep the meter and foot right. So a maid to our gay, the man the new sin. Perrier, to perish come many, it has weak as. Who monad. And so this is mono is one, and anod is on top. Who the one on top. Like a marinade is a liquid on top. And a serenade, Sarah will be nade on top. And this is the one on top. Who the one on top are gay. Allow, A-L-L-A. Goes with this W here. Allow. Flower, how to perrier go. Flower, isn't a fleur de lis, is a flower. The flower, floor. The flower who to perrier go. You get a flower on your grave. Who dies, perrier, to go. And then the L is of, of all who say, speaking. Of all who say too much, Deonto. Deonto means pay homage to Zeus. City of Dion, the graveyard of Dion. Of all who say too much, death to. Gonna pay your respects to Dion. Vowel, O may own. Vowel is a spoken word. Vowel, oh may I, oh may I own, O-W-N, I want. Vowel, oh may own. New terras, new earth game in. And so this word for children, they say is the techno, and this is where it comes from here. It comes from the EK is the L, and it says tell, no gone in. You tell no gone in. If you mess with children, you don't tell nobody. The vowel O may own the new earth, the new terrors, the neuters game in. The tell no gone in. How code is spouting. Spouting is to blow air and water out of your blowhole. When a whale spouts. Who code is spouting. Much demane affirming. Ditto nay. Ditto, me too, not. To it, antic. They men, and then backwards after this iota script. On them, jacket. No loitery as sharing. To much removed, affirming. Somebody who code is spouting, the much demane, to remove, affirming, me to not to it, antics. They men on them jacket, no loitery has. They're taking the stripes off the coat, taking their pin back to share in. Edger tines. The hedge, this is edge, and you see the Dutch word, for length and height. They both have the edge in them. And an edger is like a hedger fund. An edger is somebody who's on the edge of the city walls, a hedger, and they go out there and buy stuff up, what a hedge fund does. They actually buy the product that they think they can sell for profit. The hedger, tines. Tines means points, points on your pitchfork. And the hedger points. 6, EX is 6. 6, hex, trapezon. And usually they say, the trapeze is a table, anything close to that. It comes from artists. If you were going to draw a bunch of people sitting at a table, you wouldn't draw a square. That would look dumb. You would start with a trapezoid, trapeze. And so this is 6 trapezoids. Or it could be tables. The hedger tines points the 6 trapeze on, the 6 tables on. A piezo. A piezo means level or a floor, or as in levels of a apartment building, floors. 2 nag, Satana. And the hedger points the 6 trapeze on. A piso, a floor to Satana, to Satana. And so I believe this is their name for Shiva. Shiva the sitting, god of destruction, destroyer of evil, time and dance, meditation and yoga. But it may be the yin and yang symbol, the 6 trapeze on back and forth, the 6 trapeze on a level to Satana. They 'tis pissed, each they chair has. And so this pissed, we Google that Greek word, and they say it's a French, for a ski run, compacted snow. I had Googled this yesterday, and I hit the translator, and one of these turned into 4, and it was this one here, and it was the 4 taxes, and it's not translating today. And it won't even translate in my Google Translator today. It's like they're watching me and turned off my Greek translation. And it's pretty easy to tell that it's Greek, it's being shipped from Greece. The store language is Greek, but it doesn't want to translate it for me. It is piss behind the each they chair as. The parquet too. So the parquet is a question, is why. When Spanish people are arguing, they sound funny because one is saying why, another saying because. It's the same word, parquet, the why and because. And so it is behind the each they chair as. The parquet it too, the why it too, what to is. Too much varies to, varies to. And then this first EK is the L. The much varies to Hill Ecclesia. And I don't believe that means church. I believe that means the one speaking to God for you. The Ecclesia. Not the church, but the priest. Ecclesia. The question to what to is, too much varies to Ecclesia. Hind, behind, after, to is, wants, WONTS, the want as, cherish, the parquet, the answer. It may impart relief. And so it's the parquet, the first time it was a little bit different here. The parquet with an I-T-O. The parquet, the question it to, what to is, too much varies to, Ecclesia. Hind, behind, after to is, want as, cherish, the answer, the because. And then it reads backwards here. Because, the parquets, the because has the crap. It may impart relief on you if you go take a good crap. So I searched this word a couple years ago, and the only place I could find it was on an ancient tombstone where they interpret it as passers-by. But yeah, it is faith, has faith in it, faithful. Each they chair is. They're all sitting around. And the questions it to, ought to is, what to is, too much varies to. And they all have different questions. And Ecclesia, Ecclese, of cull see, hind, of cull see behind, to is, want as, cherish, the answer, and the people that's having the faith, they're wanting to believe, they're believing. whoever wrote this don't believe in any kind of hocus pocus. They bust on every religion in here. And the hind, it is who want as to cherish the answer. The question and the answer, the why and the because, the parquet has it crap. It may impart relief. So there's about 8 more lines in this 25 lines. And I believe I'll just get this next paragraph, this next one, down to line 20. And it's got some good stuff in there too. But this last one here, this last paragraph, these 5 lines, it blew my mind when I read that. But I'm gonna cut this off here. Good day.